So you want to main Xinyan? Cool. Do you like rock music? Do you like explosions? Do you like burning the world on fire? Do you like bursting the shit out of your enemies? And do you like hiding behind a shield like a puss? Woo! Well then, Xinyan the Rockstar is for you. This channel is also for you if you do enjoy these videos, so don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, because apparently they're very important, and why not anyways if you do enjoy them. But back to the video.
悩みは町中の子供と目があったら絶対泣かすこと。ああ、もっと優しく見える方法はないのか。思いついた方法は全部試したけど、全然効果がなかったんだ。誰が悪者よ。
Alrighty, so story time. So Xinyan was born into a poor family. However, Xinyan's parents tried to provide her with everything they could, and they wanted her to become a phoenix, like stand out and be successful. Unfortunately, her parents were Asian, and Xinyan had to grow up in a prejudiced environment where she was basically told to behave in a stereotypical feminine manner. Fortunately, Xinyan learned to not give a single fuck about that, and she became a compassionate rock star. In this universe, rock music was apparently originating from Fontaine, the Hydro country, the land based on France, just in case you didn't know. Apparently, her fierce appearance makes everyone afraid of her, even though she's not trying to. There was this one time where she tried to save this kid from getting bullied, but this kid just cried and pissed and ran away, calling her an angry ghost. Sad thing is, because of her appearance, she has no friends, except for Shang Ling. Oh, and she also has a friend, I guess, she's technically a fan, who actually works in the, the fancy tea shop. And she's also a upcoming character, and her name is Yunjin. Apparently she's a dancer or something, so yeah. Cool, I guess. So let's look at her abilities now. So her elemental skill is called Flaming Ballsack. She basically whips her enemies with her pyro guitar, applying pyro, while also gaining a beefy shield. Now the strength and the effect of her shield depends on how many she whipped with her guitar. If you hit one enemy or no one, you get a beefy shield. If you hit two enemies, you get a double beefy shield. If you hit three enemies, you get a triple beefy shield that also fumes consistent pyro effects, which is pretty handy for elemental reactions or just extra damage. But the main thing about the Flaming Ballsack is the shield. Moving on to her elemental burst, World on Fire. She turns up the music, literally casting a massive pyro effect around her and also dealing beefy physical damage. This ability is kind of broken depending on whether you have her C2 or not, but even if you don't, you'll probably burst your enemies with heavy physical damage. And another cool thing about this is that the physical burst damage is AoE. For her passives, the first one lets you have access to the double and triple beefy ball sacks more easily. The second one increases your physical damage within the sack, and the last one's useless. You'll never use this. Now for her constellations, there's a lot for this as well. Her first one makes you do more damage if you crit. Her second one makes your World on Fire crit no matter what, and gives you a guaranteed triple beefy sack. Her third one makes your sack beefier. Her fourth one makes you do more damage. Her fifth one makes you do more damage. Her sixth one makes you do more damage based on her defense. Well, that was actually longer, huh? Wow. Now for the artifacts. This will be very different based on your approach on how you want to build Xinyan. So you have two options. One, physical nuke burst, and two, Omega Beefy Sack. So Xinyan's constellation will affect how you build her, so I'll talk about the physical nuke build first, and then I'll move on to the Beefy Sack build. So for the physical nuke build, if you don't have her C2, her constellation 2, you want crit rate, crit damage, physical damage bonus, and attack percentage. Pretty natural. If you do have her C2 though, you want to ignore crit rate and focus on crit damage as much as possible. I mean, you don't have to ignore crit rate as so much to say, like, just focus on crit damage more than crit rate, because crit rate isn't too important, especially if you're trying to rely on her physical damage from her elemental burst, because if you do have your constellation 2, your elemental burst is guaranteed to crit no matter what. So naturally, you just want to focus on crit damage for that. So there you go for the physical burst build. For her beefy sack build, just focus on defense as much as possible, and just letting you know, this build is really mainly for support, but it's incredibly useful because of the beefiness. And it's also providing pyro effects, which is why she's kind of different from Noelle. And I never tried this build myself because I'm out of resources, but this is basically what makes Xinyan such a powerful support. This build is also fine if you have her C2, because then you'll be able to infinitely chain your shields so you take no damage basically. So it's pretty good for that too, since Abyss 12 is full of cryo cucks. For this build, don't worry about any attack related artifacts, I guess. Just focus on defense as much as possible. If you want some damage, I guess you can worry about the P set bonuses, which I'll talk about later. Now for P sets, this will also depend on your decision on which build you want. If you are a beginner for physical nuke, then try Berserker or Sojourners. I don't think martial arts really affects your elemental burst damage, but if you just want some auto attack, then martial arts is fine too. When you start to get 5-star artifacts, focus on Noblesse piece, Bloodstained piece, 2-piece is fine for that. If you are going for a more supportive sub-dealer approach, then 4-piece Noblesse is probably your best choice. If you have C6 and want to do some damage, 4-piece Bloodstain is probably one of the best artifacts for Xinyan for that extra charge attack damage and no stamina cost. For the beefy sack build for beginners, Guardian's great, makes you and your shield more tanky. If you are starting to get 5-star artifacts, then you probably want Summer Knights for shield strength, and maybe a 4-piece if you want to do some extra damage, but I think that's the only best choice. There might be more, but I'm pretty sure that's it for the defensive build. Finally, her weapons. I think everything's fine. The Unforged one is obviously the best weapon for Xinyan, but it's a 5-star, so let's talk about the 4-stars. So for 4 stars, Prototype is amazing for damage, White Blind is amazing for shield, maybe for damage if you have her C6. Energy Recharge is fine as well, but you can still switch between characters while your shield is up, so I'm not sure if that's a must-have. For 3 stars, Debate Club and Skyrider for damage, and White Iron for tank. For teams, honestly, everything is probably fine. Maybe not Chongyun if you are trying to do damage using Xinyan, because Chongyun will ruin her damage if you use your E. But the other way around is probably fine since she is reliant on physical damage, and I recommend bringing a Super Conduct combo to increase her damage even further and bringing another Pyro unit for that 25% attack increase from the Elemental Resonance. If you are going with tank, honestly, she fits for basically anything. Not sure if you want to combo elements with Pyro to do damage using Xinyan. Probably not. So how do you play Xinyan? Well, for Ballsack support, oh gosh, I'm starting to regret the name. Just cast your shield and switch, pretty self-explanatory, but if you have Constellation 2, you probably want to time your cast since you can take advantage of your infinite chain shield. So make sure to look into that if you have her Constellation 2. And also, since you do get some physical damage buffs from your shield, you can combo with characters like Razor for support as she helps quite a lot. Now for the damage build, not sure if you want to use her for bosses. She's really for Abyss and Domains, I think. Even for her defensive build, probably better if you use her for Domains, since her shield strength is dependent on how many enemies she hit with her guitar. And make sure you're hitting as many enemies as possible when you are using your Elemental Burst, since it is an AoE and you probably don't want to waste that. Also, don't worry about the pyro reactions too much. Just think of it as shatter damage, just extra damage on top of your base damage, and that's what your pyro effect is there for. And even if you are using her for damage, make sure to keep your shields up, because they really do help, and you really need your energy for that Q anyway, so make sure to hit at least 2 enemies. So yeah, in terms of elemental reactions, I think everything is fine. It just depends on whether you're using her for support or for DPS. If you are using her for DPS, then obviously you want to focus on, physical damage bonus, and the only reaction I think that actually takes advantage of that, I'm pretty sure, is Super Conduct or Shatter, I think. But, I don't know why you want to use Shatter for Xinyan. So you probably just want to focus on Super Conduct for that. And for support, I think you can just initiate any reaction with your Pyro, even Swirl. Honestly, she's fine. Just initiate it and just try to take advantage of her shield. And just the fact that she can actually provide you with the Pyro effect in order for you to actually end the reaction. So she's very useful for basically anything. So I definitely recommend you guys to check her out if you do have her. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you guys want more Genshin videos like this. Don't forget to check out my Discord server as well. But yeah, other than that, bye bye.